I grew up where there were bra and panties matches. There were Playboy pillow fights. There was
Yeah.
mud fights, right? Like, and I saw that and not that I knew any better, but it was just kind of like, women could do more than that. We're more athletic than that. We have more to offer than that. And I wanted to change that.
She is the new Impact Knockouts world champion, the virtuosa herself, Deonna Purrazzo. Let's get right into it. Big round of events coming up for Impact in Chicago at Cicero Stadium. You can get the season pass for it, by the way. Multiple shows, including the end of July and Bound for Glory in October. They'll be there this week. And we also have Under Siege going down May 26th in Ontario, Canada. Get your tickets for that, impactwrestling.com. How does it feel to be the world champion once again?
Oh, it feels amazing. I didn't realize this during Rebellion, after Rebellion. I only thought about it while I was talking about it earlier today. I had never won the Knockouts World Championship in front of people until now. So
I didn't even realize that until you brought it up.
How crazy is that, right? So to add that element to it, and now, like you said, we have a full summer full of events. Full rest of the year full of events that there's going to be people at. We can celebrate me being the world champion together. I'm so excited.
Yeah, talk about that, because your real breakout period with Impact was in kind of like the closed studio time that we were going through with the pandemic. How satisfying was that? How satisfying is that as your performer, where you get those reactions that everyone wants?
I mean, that's what we thrive on, right? Is that interaction and that little bit of control. Like, you're controlling the masses, and their reactions are dependent on your actions. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of wrestling, especially here at Impact. I used to play such a villainous character, and just, it's easy to make people hate you. And I think I did a really great job at it. And now to be on the flip side of that, and luckily, I think there's just a mutual respect for me with myself and the fans, and just the journey that I've been on thus far, my entire wrestling career. But again, specifically at Impact, it has made them cheer for me either way. So it just added to all of it. I didn't know why I was so emotional, other than winning again. And then, also Steve won the world championship in the same night. So that was really cool for us. But I think in hindsight, it was the fact that I hadn't gotten that reaction. And now I'm the main event, winning the Knockouts World Championship against one of my greatest opponents, Jordynne Grace. And there's a sold out crowd in Toronto. It doesn't get much better than that.
I'll talk to you about the whole power couple thing. So if you're watching, it's a little bit of the tease. We'll get to that. But tell me about Jordynne Grace. Jordynne is one of the most unique and obviously one of the most physically powerful female pro wrestlers in the world. And there's been some speculation that maybe you may have ushered her out the door of Impact. I'm not talking about her future. I'm not asking you to feel about that. But certainly you guys have had some real wars, and you legitimately had a conquering victory over her at Rebellion. Tell me about your rivalry with her, and maybe the possibility that could be maybe the last time you guys step in the ring together.
Yeah, I hope it's not, because I think anytime Jordynne and I step in the ring together, it's magic. Like I said, she's hands down my greatest opponent. I feel like there is no one I create better pro wrestling with than Jordynne Grace. And I think that I work better with people who have different styles. I'm a technical wrestler. I love to be ground-based, and I love different transitions into my Fujiwara armbar or the Venus de Milo, how to get out of it. Like, I love that. But Jordynne has so much power and so much strength that I feel like we really complement each other in those ways. And on top of that, we're great friends outside of the ring. So we are constantly like, ooh, this is cool, and we can do that, or how do we up our game to do this? And we love our Knockouts division, and we want to continue to push boundaries and push the ideals of what women can accomplish in professional wrestling together. And I think that anytime we get in the ring, we get to do that. So again, it was really fun, because it's been 3 years since we've been in the ring together in a one-on-one competition, since Slammiversary 2020 and then Emergence 2020. It was the last time we got to touch one-on-one. So this was really special for both of us to see how could we outdo ourselves? Can we live up to kind of that expectation and the hype that we built? And I think we did so.
There was a line that was said on commentary. I don't know if you get to see this from Rebellion, and leave it to the absolutely wonderful production that Impact has. in which you were, and if they said if women's wrestling was a living organism, that you were the air within its lungs. Now in the position that you're in as this champion at this time, defeating who you did with Impact, entering this strong period of live events. Do you feel that pressure once again every time you win a championship to carry that, to be kind of the target on your back, not just at Impact, but in all of women's wrestling?
Absolutely. To be in the position I'm in, is a dream come true. It's the position I wanted since I was 9 years old, when I said I'm going to be a professional wrestler and I want to change women's wrestling. So there's that pressure from that like 9-year-old inside of me that is like, live up to everything you spent your life doing. This is literally my life's work happening before my eyes. And every time I go out there, I want to look a little bit better. I want to push the envelope in terms of what I wear to the ring. But I also want to stay true to myself and who I feel the virtuosa is. I want to make Scott D'Amore and all of our officials at Impact Wrestling proud to put me in main events, to put me in the positions they have, to give me the opportunity to speak to you today on these media calls. I mean, there's just so much that plays into being a world champion and carrying a company on your back. And I just always want to put my best foot forward and give them the respect back that they've shown me by allowing me the opportunities they have to be world champion and to live out that childhood dream.
You bring up childhood dream. You bring up change. I didn't have this listed, but you've just provoked me, and I don't mind going this way. What were the things you wanted to change? What did you see as a little kid that loved wrestling, that wanted to grow up and become a pro wrestler, as you've clearly done and become very successful with it? But what are those things you want to change, and what things do you think that you have changed and others like you have changed recently in women's wrestling? Because I know we're really way past that certain level. Oh, women are involved. No, we're way past that. We're way past it. Tell me about those changes, and what were those changes that you saw, and what changes do you think have happened that are so prolific now?
Well, I think, like, kind of as anyone my age says, like, I grew up where there were bra and panties matches, there were Playboy pillow fights, there was mud fights, right? Like, and I saw that, and you know, not that I knew any better, but it was just kind of like, women could do more than that. We're more athletic than that. We have more to offer than that. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to be a part of showing that, you know, women could have storylines and weren't worth just 2 minutes, or women could have merchandise. And for me, you know, I was a huge fan of Trish Stratus, Mickie James, Lita, all of them are who I grew up watching. And they did have that, you know, Mickie and Trish at WrestleMania, and then Trish and Lita for Trish's retirement, and when they main evented Raw and things like that, that it was like, then it fizzled away and it was disappointing. So to see that change within wrestling at a young age was like, I want to go back. I want more than that for us. We have shown we can do that. Why didn't it stick around? And I think that, you know, fast forward all these years, you know, we are making those changes. Women are consistently the main event in companies across the board. It's not just WWE or Impact Wrestling. I do think Impact kind of pioneered that. And before it was cool, we were having women break boundaries, and women were top rated and things like that, getting storylines. And it's really, you feel that legacy when you're in the Knockouts locker room. You feel that weight and that pressure we spoke about of like, we kind of were the first to do it, and we're continuing to do it. You know, there's only been 3 women in Impact Wrestling history that have main evented a pay-per-view for the Knockouts World Championship. Myself, Jordynne Grace, and Mickie James. There's been 3 main events, and there's been 3 women to do it. And while that's an amazing feat, it's time for other women to step up and say, I'm going to take that main event spot from Deonna. I'm going to take that main event spot from Jordynne or Mickie. And I think that while we've made so much progress, there's still work to be done until all women can consistently be in these positions. And to live through that and to see that future is really incredible.
Absolutely. That is a very, it was not a question I had written down, but thank you so much. I appreciate the insight and elegance on that. Speaking about this, I got to see a little photo from your husband there. Oh, by the way, your husband, the Impact World Champion, Maclin. You guys both win the men and women's world titles on the same night in the same venue, and you guys are just wedded bliss. And now you get to you have more than rings, you have belts. So tell me about winning the world title together as a couple, and you guys both get to do it. Obviously he showed me the 8x10s. You guys are going to be rolling out at the merch table.
Yeah.
But tell me about this. This is a special time to be a champion. And then obviously the special person in your life is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment. And I don't think it hit me all day at Rebellion last week until he was kind of in the ring. And Lance Storm had said to me, like, all right, we're getting ready to go out there. Like, Steve should just be about wrapping up. And I just, like, burst out in tears. Like, oh, my God, this is his moment. And I could get emotional about it now. But more so than just myself, because obviously I've won the Knockouts World Championship before. And while this had added layers to it, I think I was most excited for him because this was real validation for him. And I know how that moment felt for me at Slammiversary 2020 when I had first won the Knockouts World Championship. And it was my breakout moment. It was me saying, you know, I am who I thought I was. Look what I just did. I had a chip on my shoulder and I wanted to prove to all of my doubters that I was worth something. And I think that Steve has done that consistently over the last, 2 years he's been with Impact. But to win the championship, to hold it in your hands for the first time, is that real true validation. And to be able to do it together was really special. But to see him do it, I think was the best thing for me that night.
That's so sweet. I don't know if everyone would do that. I don't know if anyone would do that. Once again, Deonna Purrazzo, if they want to follow you on the socials, the real socials, because I know people taking blue check marks and throwing them out the window now. But where do they go?
Everyone can go to @Deonna Purrazzo. My name is spelled with 2 N's, 2 R's, and 2 Z's. You can't mess it up. All the double letters, that's the real me. So don't let anyone fool you. I'm not, it's so funny. And I feel like everyone has said it over the last few days since Twitter got rid of the check marks. But like, I will never ask you for money. I'll never ask you for your address. I'm not going to give you my phone number. So if I do those things, it's not me.
Oh, man. You get off the internet nowadays. It's something else. Once again, Impact Wrestling, a great run of live events, specifically in Chicago. You can get the season pass at impactwrestling.com, including Bound for Glory coming up in October, the Summer Slugfest at the end of July, and it coming up just this week. We're going to have the Spring Slugfest as well. Big TV tapings, get all the info, and Under Siege going down in Ontario, Canada, London, Ontario, Canada, May 26th. You can stream that on Impact Plus. Thank you so much for the time, Deonna.
Thanks so much for having me.